I did go there for the first time yesterday. It's the American Advantage Lounge, and let me tell you, I love it there. I never want to leave. I never want to leave. They have cocktails, they have beds, they have showers.
Wait,
What?
did they serve cocktails on your flights? Because I thought they were not doing any beverage or food service.
Oh yeah, girl. They share. It's sorry. It's only in first class.
Oh my God.
First class Felicia.
Only in first class, a world I have never been in and likely never will be in. Felicia is telling us all about it after a wonderful vacation. Felicia Lawrence, we're so glad you're back.
I am happy to be back, and Amy, you keep hope alive, because one day we'll run into each other there.
Maybe they'll give me like a courtesy upgrade at some point, and I can leave my kids in the back, and I can go run up to first class.
I
Let's also
actually
note-
think about that. I
Yeah,
want to
let's
do
also
that.
note
I'm
that in
going to
that
put my kids in
meeting-
economy.
Well, at one point, Felicia was talking about, maybe I should start flying private. So she's already even beyond first class. So, what you said that in the meeting?
Time. I got a little time. I need a couple moments, a few more contracts before I end up on private status.
All right, girl,
It's
you better
coming,
bring
though.
it then.
It's coming.
All right, guys, let's get it started. COVID restrictions, hey, good news, easing up in Chicago. Today, the mayor boosted indoor capacity to 50% for bars and restaurants and pushed closing time back to 1 a.m. Liquor stores can sell until 11, and indoor fitness classes can now host 20 people. Also, John's going to get really excited. The mayor says there will be fans in the stands for Cubs and White Sox games this season. She did not say when, but they're coming.
Okay, we see
light.
John already dancing. I'm excited for you, John, and I'm excited for everyone else. I feel like,
Everybody.
at least in Illinois, which I know the pandemic is not in a bubble, but I'd like to think in Illinois, we did our work. We worked hard for this moment. We dug in our heels. We put on our masks. We closed up these restaurants, and now it's time to take the chains off the doors. Take the chains off the doors. Let's do it.
Well, you're bringing up a good point. I saw people complaining about this a little bit online. I mean, people are going to complain about whatever they want, but they were saying, look, they did not close the bars before the St. Patrick's Day weekend last year. It led to maybe an accelerated outbreak. And now you're reopening this a few weeks before then. And I can kind of see that mentality, right? Like there's a big holiday coming up that people drink a lot. But if you're going to have a system where you shut things down and you ask people to follow the rules and you start hitting the metrics that you say will lead to reopening, I don't think you can start saying, well, not this time, not that time. I think you've got to do this to keep on rewarding people for good behavior.
And let's be honest, we know so much more now than we did a year ago. So people know that they should be masking at least one, if not two. Staying socially distanced if you're out of your collective bubble. So maybe this will just be a safer version of celebrations.
Everything you just said, and the fact that we know more, but bless you.
Are you okay?
Thank you. Sorry,
Bless you, my
I'm
child.
trying to hold it. It's the lights, man. Like, come on, I gotta sneeze.
I forgot what I was saying.
That's okay.
But yeah, we put in the work. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, I was going to note that with this weather change, you are not going to be able to keep Chicago indoors.
No.
Like they are going to be coming out. So get these people vaccinated as fast as you can because we're coming off of a cold winter.
And maybe, I think that's just Amy's cue for wanting to move on. Like she's too nice to say it, but she tries to ruin our train of thought with a sneeze. We got a third one coming?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
I was just going to say the nice weather times out nicely to this because then hopefully people will gather outdoors as well as indoors too. Okay, a gay throuple, 3 people together. They made history becoming the first family in California listing 3 parents on the birth certificate. This was a couple of years ago, but now they've written a book about that experience, what it's like. Their child's now in preschool, and they say that they tell classmates, you have 2 parents, I have 3. Like, it's no big deal. So thruples are nothing new. Like, there was a thruple on House Hunters last year. There was a congresswoman who was in a thruple, got involved in a scandal as well. Nothing new, but the mindset has changed for a lot of other people. So, Felicia, I'm going to start with you. I know you're a little bit more traditional. You're open. I know you're, like, progressive. Like, let me rephrase that. You are open to anyone doing what they want to do. But I know you're a little bit more traditional. do you think throuples should be legally able to get married?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I respect other people's decision. However, I do have ways of that I think life should go. I feel a little bit better about when I read this couple, read about this couple, just because they are domesticated. They said this is a very domestic, homely situation. When I think throuple, I usually think about just some young, wild people who are wanting, swingers who are just wanting to be and don't necessarily carry the same values that I believe should come with marriage, but they seem to be fully committed and together. And I think that that's really important, especially for the sake of this child that they now have in their lives. So, I mean, to each his own, I guess, on this one. Yeah.
I'm with you, Felicia, to each their own. My only concern is now you've got, 3 parents on a birth certificate. If it falls apart, legally, how difficult is that going to be on their children? Because now they have 2 children. How do you split them 3 ways? Are these kids moving between 3 different households? I mean, maybe only 2 of them split or 1 of them splits off. I don't know. It's just that it worries me.
Instead of 50-50, now everything is 33.33333333333333333.
That's a lot of good gifts around the holidays. So
that is a lot of good gifts, guilt gifts. But isn't it confusing for kids? Like, it's hard. I think divorce is hard enough on children, and so if you add a divorce or a breakup where there's 3 parents and maybe now you have to go to 3 different homes and celebrate 3 different holidays, and then how does that work as a child growing up, and then already having to explain a special situation, that would be a little hard. So I don't, again, to each their own, but I'm worried about the kids in this one.
I worry what doors this opens. And I know that was an argument that people used against gay marriage for a very long time, and I didn't think it was fair. So maybe it's not fair that I'm using it. I think the key difference, because I got my little whiteboard here. So,
okay.
Well, because if I'm like, all right, if we're going to allow polyamorous where everyone loves each other, so like arrows both ways, everyone's happy, that's fine. But then why then would polygamy be outlawed where it's one person who is married to 2 separate people, but these 2 people aren't married together? I know there's differences, but like if everyone is consenting and adults, doesn't that raise that as a possibility too?
So yes, I think good point. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I also say when I first heard this, I did think that, that's a lot less housework with 3 people. I would love to split my bills 3 different ways. I would love to. So some obvious pros. I just want to get the obvious pros out the way. Yeah. But then we all know that there are 2 different sides of marriage where it doesn't always look as romantic and beautiful as it does in the beginning. So, I mean, how does that work with arguments? Do you go to the other spouse and you're like, you know what he said to me? No, what is that? And then they gang up on you. Like, how do you fight 3 ways? How do you fight 3 ways in a marriage?
And I've talked to people in throuples, and that's what they talk about. That the communication is the hardest part. Like, I give people who really try this, who are actually committed to this, a lot of credit. Because I could never do this. I get jealous of 1 person, let alone 2 people. Like it's hard. Like you really have to be. Right. It's like the federal government. You need co-equal branches for it to work. And when the executive gets too strong, it really throws everything for a mess. We saw that over the last 4 years.
You know what? It's funny you say that, John, because polygamy sounds like that. It's almost, and I hate this word, but I can't think of a better one, like a cult, because you have a kind of a leader and you have additional people. I feel
could be more than 2, yeah.
Yeah, in the other situation, you're talking about everybody loves everybody, and it's a group unit, and the other side is you got somebody in charge, and then people who are kind of part of deciding, adults, like you said.
It's only going to be as equal as it is equal. Like, I just feel like you would be, what if you're in a situation where you're constantly getting voted out? Like, you're trying to decide what to eat, and they keep voting against you.
How do you choose what to watch on Netflix? It's impossible with 2. I can't imagine with 3.
Forget it.
And we laugh at this, but I know there's a lot of people that are going through this. I'm not laughing at their plight. And it's just a really interesting debate as we become more normalized to this thing that was once considered different, but a lot of people are doing. These are conversations that we're going to have. Like, what is legal for marriage and those sorts of things. And I don't know. It's a good one. It's an interesting debate.
I do have a traditional approach to marriage, like you said, John. Like for me, it was a religious decision. It was a spiritual decision. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but it really meant something to me. And, I do feel like God and what I believe is a part of my marriage. And I just, I wonder how does that work for a throuple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
See, it's funny.
Marriage is a traditional notion. It's a traditional idea. When you start going outside and doing all these other things, I don't know if it works.
And for me, it's so funny you bring that up, Felicia, because to me, marriage is a piece of paper. I mean, and part of the reason we got married is because we wanted to have children. And I feel like in terms of children and like the legal system and whatever happens in your future, marriage is making it a little bit more of a secure union. And John, I'm sure you probably see that as very different because it was very hard for you to get married. So that was probably a huge deal, right?
Right. Well, I mean, once they passed the law, it was easy. We just went to City Hall. But yes, the fight for equality was, yes, exactly. Well, still, I didn't do any of the work. There was a lot of other people that did the heavy lifting on that one. All right. Well, good chat. That's interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on how this progresses moving forward. We're a throuple right now. Let's make it a quadruple. Let's get Krista on in here. Hey, girl.
Hey, Krista.
Don't tell mom.
I'm happy with wedding. Guys. Go ahead. This new wedding trend is all about the have-nots. And Alec Baldwin and his wife had 2 babies within 6 months. The internet's confused, and his reactions gold. Details are coming up and trending. Amy?
Yeah, thanks, Krista. I appreciate it. Also, if you're cleaning out your closet for spring, make sure to drop off gently worn or new business attire at Chicagoland CD1 Price Stores. From now through March 31st, we've partnered with them and Kara Chicago to provide professional clothing to those in need. You can find more details at cw26chicago.com. We'll be right back.
Let's get into it. Breaking now, the Biden administration has pulled the nomination of Neera Tanden over social media posts. The posts have sparked controversy among GOP lawmakers. She was nominated to lead the Office of Management and Budget. And civil rights activist Vernon Jordan has passed away. He was former president of the National Urban League and worked closely with Democratic and Republican presidents. He was 85 years old. And 6 New York state legislators are calling for Governor Andrew Cuomo to step down after a third woman accuses him of inappropriate behavior. Cuomo acknowledged this weekend that some of his behavior could have been insensitive or too personal. 6 Dr. Seuss books will no longer be published. Dr. Seuss Enterprises says these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. A couple of the books are If I Ran the Zoo and On Beyond Zebra. John.
Hey, before we get to John, I want to point out really quickly on the Dr. Seuss stuff too. Realize that the family is a part of the publishing house, and they totally agreed with this. Dr. Seuss himself, prior to his death, also had said he had felt bad with a lot of the things he wrote early on. So I just want to point that out because I feel like he got a lot of hate that he deserved, rightfully so, but I think he learned from his mistakes as he got older. Anyways, John Weather.
Well, I think that's also people are saying like, oh my God, you're canceling Dr. Seuss. No, the family's part of the discussion too. It's a conversation. It's not cancellation. Anyways, let's move on to weather, where we have got some pretty good news tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the nicest day for the next few, near 50. And then Thursday cools down. We may actually struggle, especially near the lakefront, to get out of the 30s on Thursday, with lows in the 20s in the evening as well. Friday warms up, and we're going to have a great forecast beyond that. This weather forecast brought to you by United Auto Insurance. Call or click for a free quote today. Amy.
All right, tonight on the Drew Barrymore Show, Dr. Oz joins Drew with tips on feeling your best head to toe. And as you get older, that gets a little harder. I recently chatted with Drew on how to feel better with yourself as we age.
Hi, Amy. It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, how did you love all those celebrations for your birthday?
It's your birthday?
Oh my God! I mean, first of all, I have to say, you make me cry when you cry. And part of it is because you cry like a real human.
I'm so grateful that you came here.
Not like an actress, which I love. It's so endearing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll say that, and the people I know, love, and work with get really mad when I say this, but I feel like I don't really know how to fake it, therefore act. Whenever I'm even crying in a film, I just go to a place that's so, upsetting or emotional that I just cry for real. But these were really happy tears.
It's a pretty good way to celebrate this birthday, because I don't know about you, because I'm turning the same age you are. I'm not super happy with this number.
Why? Tell me, Amy, why?
You know what? I was good through 40 through 45. This is on the other side, and it's hurts a little.
Is it the number that freaks you out? Is it that it's all just going to start falling apart?
You better not.
Well, there you go. Do whatever it takes to make. I will say I'm really liking getting older because I just find that I'm in a better place. I'm a better person. I have my you-know-what together more than I did when I was younger. So whatever youth has, in the appearances or, knowing you've got a lot of life to live, those are good things.
Hey, make sure to catch all new episodes of The Drew Barrymore Show weeknights at 9 p.m. on CW26. And we will be right back. Hey, life is no cakewalk for the CW Superman and Lois. Both have their careers in news. Raising two teenagers. Oh, yeah, there's the whole saving mankind thing. The new hit series stars Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch. The two shared with us the vast storytelling potential this dynamic unlocks.
The fact that, in the comic books, Lois and Clark have one son named Jonathan, and he's typically portrayed as a lot younger. We have two fraternal twins now. They're boys. They're 14. So even just the fact that they're 14 and we have all the sort of complexities of being a teenager, a hormonal teenager who's, involved in self-discovery, who is talking back to their parents, like all of that is a huge aspect. I know it's really up in the air. Do one or both of them have powers is going to be answered throughout the course of the season, maybe.
Hey, you can watch Superman and Lois tonight at 8 p.m. on CW26. And this is unbelievable. One episode has aired. They've been picked up for a second season after that one episode. It's really taken off. I got to say, I love it. I'm fascinated by the dynamic with, of course, the twins. But the 14-year-olds, one of them has powers, and they're dealing with the whole interaction with their parents. It's such a cool, refreshing take on Superman and advancing it forward. So I'm really excited. We tape it, and Henry and I are going to start watching it together.
That's awesome.
Aww.
I'm not surprised at all after that one episode. The pilot was great. And really engaging. You mentioned the twins. I don't know. There's something so relatable to it in a way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just so weird that obviously Superman and Lois are parents. But like, it's, you don't think it's going to be that deep. But of course it is. It's like any parent. You struggle with these things.
Yeah.
And you just, throw in some superpowers in the mix.
To your point, because they noted the everyday stresses of having a family, wife, children, and by the way, I also saved the world. But I think I'm into it just because, so when you see the typical Superman movie, this is taking it a step further. What happens at the end of a typical Superman movie? You see a happy ending, they fly off into the sunset together. Well, what happened after that? Ta-da! Here it is. It's right here. Everything you need to know and need to see. And who doesn't want to see more of Superman? Okay, look at those faces.
No one disagreeing.
We'll ruminate on that during the break.
Yeah, we'll be right back, folks. Oh, you know that sound sign. It's time for Deep Dish. All right, let's get right into it. All of you guys, pick up your phone right now. So you pick them up in your hand. What is the dumbest or most embarrassing app you have on your phone right now? Krista Green, go.
It's mostly embarrassing because it's my most used app right now, but it's a web monitoring app because I'm trying to get a puppy and these puppies go so fast. So anytime there's any change on the website, I get a notification so I can zip that email right to the breeder and hopefully get it. I failed twice. Everyone, fingers, toes, prayers, please.
Wow.
Thank you.
We are crossed for you, girl. John.
I am not wasting a prayer on that.
All right, John, what do you got?
I got a lot of bad ones. The worst one I think is Clubhouse, which I was just invited to, and I think is really stupid.
That's the one where you could hear other people talking, right? Or, like, you listen to
Yeah, I'm not into
conversations?
it. Everyone uses
Yeah.
really big vocabulary words because I think they are smart. So, but I have an app that tracks every plane in the world, where it is, its altitude and heading, and every
I love
boat
that.
in the world, every cruise ship in the world. It helps me
I can get
train and
down
see
with
where
that.
they are. But I think the most embarrassing one is I have a craps game that I play. Not for real money. I don't make any money on this.
Yeah.
I just throw those dice
Wanna
around.
play.
It's just me wanting to go to Vegas. So
Felicia, what do you
Okay.
got?
Nice. Okay, so all of you guys, I like those. Not dumb, really good. This one is dumb, but I gotta admit I don't use it. Okay, I have the Facetune app on my phone, which allows you to change your face and edit and everything. So I downloaded it because I wanted to know what it is. But I do not use it because I do not believe in that. And you can check my Instagram. I have flaws and all, and rolls and stuff popping out in places that didn't used to pop out 5 years ago. So you can check my Instagram. But I think it's insane that people are using this app to change their appearance. It's gone too far. No one looks like how they look. Do not believe the way anyone looks on
Anything, I
social
know.
media.
that's a natural Felicia right there. That's no Facetune there.
Look at that
No,
girl.
there's no Facetune there.
That's just good
That's
genes
just
right
Felicia
there.
living her best life.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
love
Yes,
that
if
is
I
good
was
genes.
Facetuning, I also would be like a Victoria's Secret model, or I'd look like Beyonce. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm going all the way.
Amy, what do you got? What's yours?
You know, it's funny. Like, I used to have the dumbest things because Henry would make me download things, and I realized when I got a new phone recently, I cleaned it off. But I did find that I have an app that measures you pupillary distance. So, because if you want to buy new glasses and you order them online, you need to know your pupillary distance. So look, it tells me exactly how far away my pupils are from one another.
How
That's
far?
my
like-
glasses.
What number are you showing us? What do you got?
I think I'm at 55. Mine's 55. I think Henry's is more like around in the 16 margin, but you know.
Hey, John, that was a
Don't-
HIPAA violation. You can't ask her numbers like
We'll
that
be
on
back.
Yeah, I had one growing up.
Funny. everybody. It is Tuesday. Miss Felicia Lawrence is back here on the Jam with us alongside Mr. John Hanson. I'm Amy Rutledge. Thank you so much for being here. This is wonderful to have you back, Felicia.
Oh, happy to be here, you guys. I feel rejuvenated. I feel rested. It was good. It was good. And
Good
can I
for
note
you.
your style today, Amy? Like you always have like a pop of edge that just does it for me. I love your earring.
Girl, this is me. This is me trying.
Slow
Just
motion,
I got a sweater.
baby. Hey, you're the
You
glue
do
that
look
holds
better,
us
John.
together, John.
Hey, Felicia, who looks older, me or John?
What? What kind of
Oh
question
my
is that?
God. Just say me.
Wait,
Just say
yeah.
me. Yeah.
I can't answer that question.
You can answer it offline. Me and you will talk later.
Okay.
All right. Awkwardness. I will move on. Chicago in 60. Former Chicago City Inspector Joseph Garcia pleads guilty to wire fraud. The 38-year-old was accused of submitting false documents and claims about inspecting low-income Chicago homes, costing the city nearly $100,000.
Okay. Chicago is so corrupt that the city's inspector, this is like the start of a joke. Chicago is so corrupt. You know how corrupt Chicago is?
How corrupt,
How
John?
corrupt is it?
The city inspector is going to jail. You know how corrupt Chicago is?
How corrupt is it, John?
Even the rats have a pension. Like, that's the kind of jokes that we can make out of this stuff. My God.
And what's awful about this, too,
Unbelievable.
is he was tapped to be inspecting porches in the city of Chicago. As many of us know, we've had many porch problems, them collapsing.
Yes.
We've had many injuries. I believe a few deaths associated with it as well. So,
And we're
good.
chuckling, but it's so sad because it ends up
It's so
costing
sad.
the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Like, and then as you mentioned, some people's lives. It really goes
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Okay, more than 100,000 COVID vaccination appointments at the United Center will be up for grabs starting Thursday, okay? Thursday, everybody. That's the day after tomorrow. Right now, they are just for seniors 65 and over. A city partnership with Uber will offer up to 20,000 free rides for anyone who needs help getting to the West Side and back. Okay. 20,000 free rides. There's no excuse
Amazing.
here. I mean, I
Yep.
guess I could
Yeah.
see there being a digital divide for seniors. But hey, find somebody to sign you up online and get to these vaccines. There's no excuse.
Yeah, when we were talking about equity and access to vaccines, it wasn't only people that were, that are a little bit older, maybe can't move around. It's people not being able to walk, take the bus 4 or 5 miles to where they got to go. Now, what an awesome partnership.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, the Blues Bus may be cruising the city's streets once more. Members of the Maxwell Street Foundation are working to renovate it and use it to create a blues exhibit. It was once owned by the Reverend John Johnson, who has stabled the old Maxwell Street Market. This sounds so cool what they used to do in this Blues Bus, selling blues tapes and CDs for 40 years. It's like one of those things that is like they were on Maxwell Street playing blues out of the back of this bus, and it just sounds so cool that I would have never been invited. Like I would have totally missed this entirely when it was there in the 90s. Like it's
The beauty of this, John, is you wouldn't had to have been invited. He literally pulled all the chairs out. It was a music store that he opened up for anyone to come on board. He was trying to get the entire community into music because, as we know, music and math and all this stuff leads to bigger and better things. And he got a couple kids
Cool.
really involved. And it was like his way to like give back to the community the way he could and get like, these artists out in front of other ears. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Okay, here's another story we've been following, unfortunately,
music.
okay? Right. Rapper T.I. and Tiny, aka Calvin and Tamika Harris, they're facing more allegations of sexual abuse. So 6 anonymous women have come forward so far saying that T.I. and Tiny raped, drugged, and kidnapped them. Now, the allegations, they span over the last 16 years, and the women say they took place in Georgia, LA, and Florida. So far, their attorney says the couple is completely denying these allegations. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. You want to take allegations seriously. They are clearly very serious. At the same time, you also don't want to see people's lives and careers blown up, which is exactly what's happening too.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin anyone's lives, but of course you hear a story like this and my immediate brain goes to, Bill Cosby and to
R. Kelly.
just blinked R. Kelly, yes,
Yeah.
in Chicago. And so like it's something that's somewhat recent in our history. So there's a lot of us that are like kind of like, oh, this sounds familiar. It could have happened. Oh, wait, people have been convicted of this. Oh, yeah, it did happen. So that unfortunately is then going back to them. And I hate to say, but I think a lot of people are going to immediately convict them. Let's let this play this out in court, but it doesn't sound good. It's been going on since the early 2000s.
Right, and a lot of the allegations are very similar amongst the
Yeah.
different people, and that's often what prosecutors look for is that sort of consistency. Doesn't mean that there wasn't coercion before and all this, and they
For
talked
sure.
it up and they made it all up. We got to let it play out, but really disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of their show. They have Tia and Tiny and the Family Hustle. So they have like this family reality show. And it's like, this is who I think of, I don't think of what these women are alleging. So, it's not something that you want to see. But I guess, as you guys already mentioned, the best way is to watch the process play out.
Yeah.
Sure.
More details to come. All right. So this one I'm really fascinated by, guys. A Pennsylvania college professor says she feels violated following a Twitter argument with ESPN radio host Dan Dakich. It started over an argument about a freshman basketball player. So the female professor, who is also a former Division I swimmer, chimed in on the discussion, challenging Dakich to a race, saying, "Let's go at it in the pool." That was her response. He later referred to the woman's argument as, the female dog that we have a word for, and we put an ing at the end, and sometimes something we do or we're griping at things, that word.
Right.
I can imagine.
And said he said he would have to divorce his wife before taking that challenge. So he's been called out, for, she's saying, sexist behavior on Twitter. Recently suspended his Twitter account. And I'm curious because when I read it as, I don't know any of the people involved, the players involved. And I was like, well, he was just kind of been like, he was playing off of your tweet. Does he know you were a Division I swimmer? Because he kind of thought you were kidding, maybe. I don't know. It begs the question, where do we draw the line at calling people out? So I'm always curious about this. So go.
You're on Twitter, right? I mean, this is where arguments happen, and this is where arguments get silly and stupid. And I didn't see anything in there that was over the line. Like, definitely a little suggestion of her sex because he was talking about, I had to get a divorce if I enter the pool with you. Okay, yeah, I could see that being a little offensive, I guess. But the B word with ing, I use that all the time. I use that whether I'm talking to men, women, my parents. That's weird. Enrique, I just stop your blank word. And there's nothing sexist about it. I feel like that's just very normal Twitter talk.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to be careful when we throw those accusations around just because you don't want anyone or people, the public, to get desensitized to things like that. It's like claiming everything's racist or something like that. No, everything is not racist, but we need to be able to talk about it. So it seems to me like this was just flirting in the beginning that ended up going too far and kind of getting twisted. Well, it's the way I got that from, where I got that from was when he said, I'd have to get in the pool I'd have to divorce my wife before I get in the pool. I thought I interpreted it as him taking her as flirting with him. That's how I get it. So
and I don't think that was
the flirting.
Yeah, and I think that's where the misconstruction happened because she's a former swimmer. She's like, I'm going to take you out of the pool in a 300-meter swim, right? And he's like, I can't do that in a pool. That my wife, I'm married. We're coming from two different worlds completely.
Right.
And
so
it's being
in conclusion, this is a discussion that happened on social media where discussions should probably never happen. And it just got misconstrued. Just move on, everybody. Move on.
But he might, he's under investigation now and he might lose his job. He's been known in the past for having...
He said way worse things. I had listening to his show, I've seen way worse things. Fire him for that sort of stuff, not this, in my opinion. Speaking of arguing online, did you know that if you leave a comment on our Instagram page, Krista will get in a fight with you? Every single time she'll do it. So
get him, Krista.
That's me.
That's what she's known for.
I'm such a mean, angry fighter. Yeah.
No, I'm not leaving
JK.
angry comments on Instagram, but Alec Baldwin is, and I will tell you guys all the deets about that coming up and trending. I mean, his temper, it is true and showing in those comments. Also, one of Hollywood's biggest stars is making history, but it's not at the box office. It's not what you think. That's all coming up in just a bit. We'll be back.
News you need to know: at least 13 people are dead after an SUV carrying 25 people and a big rig collided on a Southern California highway near the U.S.-Mexico border. Authorities are investigating the cause of that crash. Drug maker Merck and Company will help produce vaccines with its rival Johnson & Johnson after it faced unexpected production issues. The White House is increasing its supply of vaccines to states from 14.5 million to 15.2 million. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott is lifting the mask mandate despite the advice of multiple health officials. Starting March 10th, businesses will be allowed to operate at 100%. The governor noted the economy as the main reason behind making these changes. John?
Can I just say that with the mask mandate thing, that there were more cases yesterday when he is now releasing the mask mandate than there were when he put the mask mandate in place in the first place, which just is so backwards to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Why?
Good
The
news on the
numbers don't
vaccine
lie.
stuff. Like, why?
Don't take your foot off the
It's
brake.
I know. It's little things. All right, let's talk about your weather forecast. Boo, we're going to love it, okay? So we are going to go from the 40s here, which we will take the 40s. Even if Thursday is in the 30s and doesn't get to the 40s, who cares? We're not snowing. But look at this warm-up, guys. I got us tracking the mid-50s in the weekend, into the weekend, into the low to mid-60s. Now, I'm being optimistic like I always am. That's 64, little bit of a pipe dream, but I saw one model say 64, and I ran with it. So that's what we're doing. And this weather is sponsored by United Auto Insurance. Call or click for a free quote today.
I love it. Thanks, John. Well, whether it's on the dance floor or in the director's chair, Debbie Allen is known for breaking things down in a simple way you will understand. Now she's all about choreography and choreographing a healthier lifestyle after receiving a pretty shocking diagnosis.
Thank you, Miss Amy, and hello to everybody in Chicago.
So you are kind of making some rounds to give some people some good health advice they need to keep in mind right now.
I am. I have joined a campaign that was initiated by the National Kidney Foundation, and then Bayer partnered with them. And then they asked me to join because their focus was always the question, are you the 33%, the 1 in 3 Americans at risk for chronic kidney disease? But then the whole campaign also decided to focus on type 2 diabetes as being a real risk for chronic kidney disease. And my whole family has been ravaged by type 2 diabetes. My father, my grandfather, my uncle, my aunt Ciola, all died of complications of type 2 diabetes. So it's always been in my DNA. I've always been looking for it to show up. And it hadn't showed up until it showed up as a result, I think, of kind of COVID, because we were so isolated.
Yeah.
I started cooking these elaborate meals to keep people happy, making all kinds of cocktails. And this was daily, you know, and then sitting at home watching TV. And then I looked up and I was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic. And so that was a wake-up call. That coupled with what I do on Grey's Anatomy, where I play one of the nation's leading urologists.
I can't do this. Yeah, you can. We can.
Where I'm acting in a capacity that actually gives people information. Every show that we do has informed people about their health.
You mentioned Grey's Anatomy, so I wanted to ask you a couple questions about that because McDreamy made a reappearance this year. We hear he's coming back. How did that work out?
Baby, that was like the biggest well-kept secret.
Yeah.
Ooh, we fought hard to make sure you all didn't know about that, and we did so well. I will only tell you that more is coming, and our season, mid-season premiere, I think it's March 11th, will really take the audience and shake you one more time.
You're in the hospital, Richard.
What?
We
Seattle Grace?
have a great opportunity that Shonda Rhimes created for the world to continue to tell you these wonderful human stories and educate you about your health and inspire. We've inspired millions of young people to go in the medical profession. It's a joy for me to go to work every day.
Pretty much everything that you touch, like you talk about all these people that want to be doctors because of Grey's Anatomy. I grew up in the 70s and 80s and watched you as a dancer, and that's all I wanted to do was to dance because of you and because of all the inspiration you bring. Any advice for younger people kind of starting out in kind of a not so secure world right now?
I would just say that you have to listen to your heartbeat, and your mind will lead you somewhere, but what's in your heart to do, and don't be discouraged. You know, it's like water. It'll find a way. You'll find a way.
Yeah, to keep up with all things Debbie Allen, make sure to follow her on social media. You can see that all in front of you there. She is the queen. Before we go to break, a live look from the Royal Sonesta Chicago Riverfront Cam. We will have much more coming up right after this. Stick around.
Well, the CW's The Flash returns tonight after season 6 was cut short almost a year ago due to the pandemic.
Well, actress Candice Patton is sharing what we can expect going into tonight's season 7 premiere and about the growth of her character Iris.
What are you? Can't figure it out?
Essentially what's happening is these first, I believe, 2 episodes are more like the ending of season 6. It's kind of putting a button on what would have been the end of season 6. And then I think around episode 3 is where we would have traditionally picked up a new storyline for season 7. So it's unusual, but we've done our best to make it make sense for the audience. For so long on the show, Iris was just kind of there, and it's like, oh yeah, she's a reporter, but we never knew what she was reporting on or how her reporting actually contributed to her member as a member of Team Flash. So we're finally just kind of opening those doors, and it's really important to see how she is contributing, how she's her own woman, how she's intelligent, and who she is outside of being Barry's wife.
All right, can't wait for season 7 of The Flash, and don't have to wait long, premiering just a few minutes, 7 p.m. on our sister station, CW26, and we'll be right back.
All right, fam, here are my top 3 trending stories tonight. Angelina Jolie, she smashed a record, but it's not in the box office. It was at an auction. Yeah, so she sold this painting by Winston Churchill for 11.5 mil. Not that much, just a little. But what I love about this, it was a gift from Brad Pitt. Now, this is a lesson we can take, everybody. Get as rich off your exes as you can.
Yeah.
Sell their clothes on Poshmark. Sell that stuff on eBay. Turn it into some dough.
Best advice I've heard all day.
Wait, who's got exes giving them that kind of stuff that they can make money off it?
You got the wrong exes, Amy. You've been dating the wrong guys.
You guys all are interested in the personal relationship aspect of this. Can we just mention again that this is a painting by Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and he did it during World War II. He painted, this is northern Morocco. He went to visit many times because that's where the forces were at first, and he gifted this painting to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. That's why it's worth so much money. I would love that. Oh, gosh, I would adorn that over my fireplace.
How much did you pay for it, John?
Not that much. Oh, you're so bored, Krista. Well, why don't you talk about the Baldwins or something? I'll stop paying attention.
My top 3?
Go on to the Baldwins.
We've got another story. Yeah, we got to talk about the Baldwins because they back in the timelines. Alec Baldwin and Hilaria welcomed yet another baby, and the trolls are wondering how this new baby girl, who they named Lucia, I actually love that name, came into the family because Hilaria gave birth to their son Eduardo 6 months ago. I mean, correct my math, but I thought it takes 9 months. So Alec Baldwin is using
10.
some not safe for TV words. He's slashing haters, telling them to shut the F up and mind their own business in Instagram comments. But I mean, Alec, how can we mind our own business? You're putting it out there for us to mind, right?
Exactly. You can't like live your life so publicly, but then, you don't want people to comment or to know like details. No, it doesn't work like that. You either want to be a celebrity or you don't. Pick one.
Well, in his defense, Hilaria is the one who posted the picture of the babies. He did not. So he was just been like, come on, back up.
Yeah, I'm sure they talked about it.
I'm sure they did.
Okay. Well, I don't tell my husband everything I post on social media, and maybe he doesn't look. So there's that.
He doesn't care.
Krista, can we call a truce now? And can we call a truce and both love this next story?
Yeah, I think everyone's going to love this story because it's about TikTok, and I all know how much we all feel about TikTok. We feel good.
No, we don't.
So there's this new trend.
No, we don't.
Just let
we
me
love
go.
bashing people that like TikTok, though, so let's let Krista finish.
Okay.
That's true.
This new trend, it's users list off their dream wedding and must-haves and their rules, right? So some of the rules are no cell phones, a super fancy snack bar. One rule I saw was a $1,500 fine if you leave not blacked out. Nice. But Felicia, when I saw this, all I thought about was Felicia's wedding had to have a long list of rules. Am I right? Or
the list wasn't that long, and for the record, it was unwritten. But I had a list of guidelines, not rules, guidelines for how you should behave and what you need to do to come to the wedding.
Yeah.
What was the most outrageous?
Reasonable. They were reasonable, folks.
Are there any that
I'm
were
sure
crazy?
in this first class.
Yeah. My only rule at my wedding was enjoy the chicken fingers because we're at a bar. So enjoy that.
The only rule at my wedding was nobody bring children.
Yeah, really?
Cool.
That's
a good
one. Children.
You jinxed yourself. That's why you had twins. Like when you were hoping for one more, that was that rule. That's karma coming right back at you, girl. Mm-hmm.
God said,
I'm
I'll
gonna borrow
show
that
you.
chicken finger one. I like that chicken
we
finger
found
one,
a
John.
story we all like that story. Nice job, Krista. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Taking that chicken finger.